I'm none other than the bad man himself, Scott Hall. Lads, introduce yourselves.
Yo! I got the alley-oop from Scott Hall. You know this is the vibe. Look at that. Hey.
Okay.
Spurs Order, Kevin Yash signing in.
Jeez,
It's
Kevin.
Kevin.
Sweet indeed, baby.
Yo.
Yeah, man.
How are you on this fine evening, my brothers?
We're good. We are very
Feeling
good.
good.
Conte ball. I won't hug it. Go. Next man up.
Yeah, man. No one better than Booker T, because I'm coming for you. I won't finish that still.
I ain't got my mask on yet, but trust me, I'll get it out for certain, man. For certain players out here. I'm going to be wearing layers of it, yeah? But we'll get into it.
Fucking hell, man. Yeah, you know it is. Macho Man, Randy Savage, New Spurs Order. Or I would say good evening, brothers, but I'm going to say buongiorno, mi fratelli. You know the vibes.
I like that.
Buongiorno, jeez. But the hand movements, everything, man. You know how it is. You know it is this era, aka Lex Luger, NSO representative. Happy to be here. You know, Nuno, no more. That's all I can say.
And to follow that up, you can't stop the rain. No. Well, I'm going to have to buy a new wig because really and truly, Daddy's home. I'll be a host this evening, X-Pac, and as introduced, I'll be joined by my lovely cast, full house. You wouldn't really expect anything else from the new rebrand of the NSO. Boys, where do we start? We've had a new announcement recently. Antonio Conte hired as the new Tottenham manager, 18-month contract with the option of another year, which people like to leave out. Who expected that?
Not a damn person expected that. Let's not lie. I think we were all sweating that it was going to be. I mean, it was a very quick turnaround. You know, if you look at the Spurs Twitter, it was literally official statement, and then the next tweet was Conte, like a couple hours later. For me personally, there was a slight fear Ryan Mason was going to manage tonight. I mean, he may have half picked the team at some point. I had no idea who we were honestly going to get. I thought, you know, it was hard enough to get people in the summer when they would have had maybe a transfer window. So it was going to be even harder to get anyone mid-season. I was seeing, you know, someone said it in the group chat earlier. You know, when you're scrolling through the account and you see these wild takes, someone was like, "Yeah, we should get Eddie Howe in." I said, "Eddie who? Eddie what?" And then
fucking Ellis on his burner accounts.
And then someone else tried to say we should get Scott Parker. And then someone else was like, "Yeah, we can try for Potter again." I was like, "Bro, Brighton, where are Brighton? Potter's not leaving." I thought we could maybe have a stab at Ralph Rangnick. I thought he was still interested, but there are absolutely no complaints. You know, Tony Montana is now managing Tottenham Hotspur.
I can't lie, I might be on an island here. I knew this was the only way, man. I knew it was the only way. From the time the talks broke the first time around, I was saying just double back. Levy, use your negotiation skills. By any means. Firefest style, whatever it takes. And he got it done. 4 months later, Nuno ball withstanding. Boy, it's a good time out here, man. It's a good time.
Well, if it's Firefest
feel
style,
like we're back a bit.
Anyway, all I was going to say is we probably don't need to know how it was done, but really and truly, this is an open floor question thing. Like, it's a big club move, in my opinion anyway. Do Levy and Paratici get credit for doubling back on their mistake and correcting it?
I'll answer this.
I thought you might.
Paratici is new in the dugout, so for once I'm going to give him a bly. But Levy gets absolutely no credit. Listen, you don't go to the toilet and piss on the toilet seat then wipe it and deserving a round of applause for wiping and missing the whole bowl. Yeah,
that
is
was
nonsense.
that's a 14 million pound wipe, by the way.
Bruv, a 14 million pound wipe. You mean to tell me you've been potty trained since the age of 1 or 2 and you're still missing the bowl as a grown adult? This is ridiculous. However, what I will say is this. Nuno, I know a lot of people are not going to thank you for your time at Spurs, but I, Scott Hall, Yao Buzia of the NSO, would like to tell you that every single waking day in which you were at my club, I truly, truly hated you. And it was for the greater good that you left my club. Because as I said in the most recent pod, there was absolutely no way you could stay to Christmas. I would have slapped half my family if this was the case. So I'm glad that you saved them from a raw face. I appreciate it. Also, I'd like to say that Winks, Ali, Højbjerg, Dyer, Davis. I'm sure there's one more.
He's a number.
Bergwijn.
But you, man, for now, after today's performance, you're no longer at the top of the stairs. You're at the stadium. You cannot be in this club no more. Yeah, we're moving forward. This is no longer a relationship between the two of us. Yeah, it's done. Get out of the freaking stadium. Listen, I couldn't care less what you did today, Winks. Get out. You're done. You're cooked. You're fried. You're finished. But the most important thing about all of this is we finally got Conte 4 months late. I think Conte saw that we were in trouble. Conte clearly fancied us. We looked like that girl that, man was like, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, babes. Yeah. But obviously the girl went with the man that was talking a lot of wax in the club, innit? And so Conte was looking at us like, all right, cool. When you suffer, I'll be here. I'll be here. And that's what happened. We suffered. And Conte said, come on back. Bring it on back.
No, we suffered, man. We suffered, man. Like,
we suffered.
Like, when I think about Levy, he was scrambling, man. He was really, really scrambling because 10 games in, the shit performance that we were putting in, the clear disparity between what we had in the squad, the boos that rang out on Sunday. No. I'm actually happy that Paratici spun the block and went back for Conte because honestly, there was I wasn't even in the stadium on the weekend, and the boos I heard, not even at half time, but after Lucas got subbed off, I thought to myself, yeah, this man can't last. This man has no future at this football club. And even the way he was all looking bare needy, bare defeated, you were thinking, yeah, he's clearly out of his depth. So to be honest with you, with all the reports about Paratici leaving the stadium earlier and stuff like that, he had to spin the block for Conte. He had to draw for that phone. He had to draw for all his Italian links and bring Conte in. It was an absolute...
Do you know what? Lucas Moura has been at the heart of 2 of our most historic moments in the last 10 years.
True story.
Obviously, that night in Amsterdam, and then he did the 300 kick on Nuno from the top of the stairs. That shit. God damn, I love me some Lucas Moura right about now.
Can I say one thing? All right, this relates to Yao talking about hairlines. Antonio Conte revived his own and Ashley Young's hairlines. So if he can do that, he can work miracles. So give that man what he wants. This guy is basically Jesus. So give the man all his players. I still don't believe he's a manager. The only way I'll actually fully believe he's our manager is once he slaps Dele Alli into Walthamstow Central. Because I want to see honestly, 16, 17 of these players cannot be here under Conte's reign long term. If that is ever to be a thing, if he's to ever succeed. Because based on today's evidence, Vitesse Arnhem, Europa Conference League, scraping a win. Yeah, back the man.
Yo, look, I wouldn't go as far as to say I hated Nuno, But I mean, I was never Nuno in. He never really had my support in it. I'll be honest. He never really had my support. But one thing I can say is I love the fact that Conte just passed all the tests. As in test 1, there's no Dele Alli. Like, it's so easy. It's so easy.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not complicated. You've been watching the game. You had a guy. Oh my God. I told you lot when Nuno really lost me anyway. I wasn't Nuno in, but I told you lot when I was Nuno out. This guy looked me in the face. I can't even do an impression of it. They asked him, do Spurs lack creativity?
And he lied.
This guy looked up to the sky, started stroking his chin. He looked back, he said no, then he fought again, and he said, no, there's no problems. I said, this guy needs to go. He's been around Levy too long.
Brother was
And you know what,
gaslighting.
as well, yeah? As well, like, I'll play the bad guy, yeah? I'll give Levy credit for one thing, yeah? The only thing, this is the thing I'm giving him credit for right now, is that he went back. So he didn't try and do another bullshit, another space filler, another trash, whatever. He went back. That's one difference. That's all I'm gonna say in it. It's not enough, but it's different in it. That's all.
You gave him credit, yeah?
Yeah, man gets one credit, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Get a 5-day pass.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie
Agreed.
to you. If
Agreed.
he applied for a credit card, he's getting declined. Yeah, he ain't getting no credit, B.
He
No
went-
credit
he
right
went-
here.
He went back on his hands and knees still.
By effect.
Whatever he did, yeah.
He
Trust
was
me.
He was begging, bro. Trust me. Begging
Trust me. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Not
So
today's price.
It's not today's price. Trust me. What I'm saying is, yeah, debts got paid.
Before Owen navigates the rest of this, I'd also like to actually give a thank you to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the United faithful. You guys, you done us a favor. I thank you. I thank you.
You gotta sing the chant.
I thank you. Hey, listen. I want all United fans
Shout
to
out
know.
to Timmy as well.
We come in love. I want the Mugger lot to know, yeah, that whatever
Hold
happens
up.
from this point on, we the NSO don't want you guys to suffer no more. Yeah, you've done us a solid.
Enough.
Go out there and go find your diamond. Yeah, 'cause
Hold that Mugger
you
monster.
man need it.
Hold that, still, hold
I'm gonna fall over.
I can only echo that as well, man. Like, I was actually going to mention next. Like, I did listen to the last Mugger episode, hoping for tears. But at that time of recording, I don't think Conte was confirmed. And yeah, I was actually going to touch upon the Man U game, but really and truly, there's no point covering El Sacco. All we know is we won, and they actually did a very good analytical breakdown of that game themselves. So thank you. And if you want the analytical breakdown of that game, head over there. If you want to celebrate and Badenaz's success and United's tears, this is the place, really and truly. And yeah, I think Conte won a lot of us over it just in the first like kind of 30 seconds of his interview when he said he was emphasizing on a proper structure. Lucky, I think he was sending for Mourinho as well as Nuno when he was saying not just up and down ball. And that was music to all of our ears, I think. But we've got to get into it. I mean, who's going to benefit most in this system and who's going to probably suffer? The floor is yours.
And the first 15 winners and losers. I think Emerson's going to be a winner by default, just because number 2 is still number 2. Number 2 is not going to do anything to change Conte's mind about his ability. But what I will say, obviously, I'm sure we've all been watching videos on Conte tactics over his last 2 or 3 teams. But you know, he loves going through the fullbacks. And I think Reguilon is definitely going to eat this season. I think Reguilon started to come back into a bit more respectable form, even under Nuno. Obviously, he did have that one game where he got dropped for Ben Davies. Part of me thinks Nuno may have played Ben Davies on purpose to get himself sacked. I don't know, probably.
Makes sense.
But yeah, like obviously, had the likes of like Hakimi at right wing back. So he's looking at his resources like, fucking hell, man, I'm finished. But it's and then he's also had Kandreva, who was obviously like an actual winger, that was playing winger. So he was just bombing forward like on a mad thing. So weirdly, and I know this is Jack's guy, but like, I have a feeling, hey, Bergwijn might eat at right wing back. You know, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I just wouldn't be surprised if that, because Bergwijn's not playing as one of the strikers, or if we switch it to a 10 and 2 strikers, that's not gonna happen either. So I think I'm not gonna say all the winners and losers. I want to share it out, but I think Reguilón's definitely gonna eat. I think Bergwijn could eat. That's what I'm gonna say.
Can I mention? Actually, you know what? I'm going to agree that I think Bergwijn could eat, but he's halfway down the stairs. So
I agree.
that crawling up stuff, that's very tough. I'll tell you somebody who's definitely not going to eat. His name's Harry Winks. Yeah, that guy needs to go. Yeah, that guy's not eating for nothing. I don't care what he did today, people. I don't give a flying doo-doo. Yeah,
I love how that's twice you've acknowledged he actually did something good today and he had a good performance.
No, I acknowledge.
And I'm going to continue counting.
I acknowledge that he made a pass. That's your job. Yeah, your job is to actually do that. Yeah, but that's not enough for me. So I don't think Winks is going to eat. But one person who I definitely think is going to lose their job very soon under Conte is the guy who couldn't avenge his own brother. Some of us know him as diabolical. I know him as a guy that shouldn't be at my club. And many people know him as the worst centre-back to grace a Spurs shirt since Fazio. And Fazio, I know you listen to the podcast because you've got nothing better to do in your life because you're not a real footballer. So I want you to understand that I'm telling you this, Fazio. You stunk. You stink. You stunk as a football player. You stunk as a defender. And so does flipping diabolical. So these two guys, I don't think are going to eat. And if I had to mention one guy who I do think is going to eat, Romero, a.k.a. Cootie with some fella. Just a tiny bit.
He ate early today because he
I
went straight to that dressing room for some pasta.
He did eat early.
I mean, I think in terms of our defenders, I think there's a lot of players that maybe he would have looked at, you know, in terms of their profiles and thought they could probably do a job for me. But I think after looking at today's game, he's probably thinking most of these defenders need, you know, a shake-up. You know, he went with Dyer at the middle today. He went with Romero on the right, which is what I thought he kind of would go. But then now that I look at it, the way that Romero defends would probably suit him to be in the middle. And then he's probably going to need some decent ball playing sort of centre-backs to play alongside him. You can probably look at Davies, and we all know how limited Davies is. And Dyer, I mean, arguably, he was at fault for 2 of the goals today. Well, at fault, or could have done a lot better for 2 of the goals today. So I think those players in our defence are definitely going to lose out. I feel like because of the kind of way that he plays as well, I think it probably will suit our attacking players, especially the Kanes and Son. He won't be asking too much of them, and he'll probably be asking them to kind of play in an instinctive sort of fashion, which is probably what they're best at doing because they're both quite clinical. I mean, I can kind of see what people are like thinking when it comes to players like Winks because of his ability to keep and rotate the ball. But again, I still think that he's missing that little bit of physicality that we kind of need there. So I'm not sure if it will work long term for him. I kind of look at Skip, and I also think Skip would kind of benefit. But I just feel Skip's a little bit technically. He's not right there yet. I mean, he does a lot of good work, does a lot of doggies, puts himself about, you know, makes the challenges that you want him to do. But then to progress the ball, you know, in this sort of automation that Conte does, is he quick enough? Is he technically good enough to make the turns or the half turns quickly? Like, I'm not 100% sure. And he come off today, and in a way, Winks looked a bit better than him when he came on. So I kind of feel that there's a few different players that could definitely benefit from us, definitely. But also lots of players who I think when he looks at them more closely he'll probably think they're a bit too limited to do what I'm asking of them, essentially.
Yeah. I think the obvious candidates will be our best players. You know, Kane, Son. I think they'll benefit from Conte's coaching. Definitely. Listen, Kane will have fire in his belly. Give him time.
Yeah, sorry. What was
You'll
who's
see. You'll see.
what name did you just mention?
Number 10, HK10.
You mean Mook? Okay. No, hey, man ain't earning no name till I see a trophy delivered. He's still a Mook.
But listen, you know he's got ability, right?
Mook.
Romero, I think he'll definitely benefit. So I think these players will play to their level or to the best of their ability. I think players like Reguilon and Emerson, I think they'll play probably above their level because I think he does get the best out of wing backs. He does utilize them. He protects them from a defensive point of view as well, in terms of his coaching. And then there's just hopelessness for the rest of for the most part, and that's the obvious candidates. And again, I don't want to rant about Dyer yet again because I've done that enough on the pod. But this guy, genuinely, honestly, I said it in the group chat. Like Fazio, Kirikes, Michael Dawson, Anthony Gardner, all better than this guy. This guy is honestly, I genuinely think him and Dele Alli just need to go to MK Dons because I've run out of adjectives to describe these fruitless players. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say on them. But yeah,
They are terrible, we know. But there's one guy in this team, I think, who's arguably been worse than Dyer recently. And I don't know how he always escapes the criticism. But Ben Davies, man, this guy, bro, he's so bad we don't even notice. It's insane, bro. Like, we don't even want to talk about it. We give him one sentence. We're just like, yeah, Ben Davies was bad. And then we go back to Dyer. Bro, it's so funny. Every week we do the same thing. I don't know. Listen, last time I had to turn the stairs into an escalator for these youths. Yeah. I think Nuno probably pressed stop when he got to the bottom. Do you get what I mean? They're on the escalator. They land up here. But Ben Davies, I don't know if this guy's got the Batman rope tied to the top or what he's doing. I don't know how he keeps. The worst thing is he's getting in at centre back. It's not even like. Anyway, if I say another guy who's definitely not eating, it is a guy that I had stocks in and I had to sell at rock bottom. Man like Lo bro, I'm out. I'm out. He owes me a $5.
That Lo
I had to. Bro, listen, Lo oh.
He doesn't need stairs or an escalator.
You
He
know
needs
what?
like a fireman's pole or something.
You know what's funny, yeah? Even when I saw the replay of Lo goal, yeah, and it hit the keeper's head, I was surprised because I thought he just missed completely. That's how little faith I have in Lo. Yeah, I was surprised that he hit the keeper. I thought he just skied it, and that's normal. That's what I expect from this guy. He's not eating. It's not happening for him. I'm sorry. I tried. You get what I mean? Winks. Do you get what I mean? I'll wait and see. You know what I mean? I'll sit in the middle right now. I don't know if I sold my Winks stock. It was worthless. Like, no one was buying that. So I don't know. I might have it still at rock bottom. I'll wait and see what happens. You get what I mean? It might have to be something. It might be a little something. Big up appropriate apps as well.
I need Lo Celso gone by January, man. Like, I need him gone. I need that little Nazi boy haircut out of the club, man. It's gotta go. Like, why did we let Lamella go for his shit counterpart? Like, his evil twin. It's weird. Like, I've never seen a man hit a goalkeeper so many times. Like, his shin pad made it further over the line the other week than the fucking ball did. It's mad. It's mad out here. Like, he's peppered the keeper in his face today. All sorts. Like, he's dreadful, man. He's got to be one of the worst signings we've ever had. But yeah, I'm about to jump on the train, so I'll let you man cook. But It's a pleasure as always. New Spurs Order, Kevin Yash, signing out. Peace.
Pleasure. I just love when Era mentioned the Celso. There was just a load of DEE ad-libs coming right through the chat. Yeah, he's in danger, man. He's in danger. I'm surprised no one mentioned number 2 in who could suffer, because he's not made an appearance again.
He didn't even get started by Nuno.
It goes without saying.
Bro, somebody might need to. They might need
Yeah,
to.
we're not going to talk about the variant.
Or something.
The guy's practicing for the next season of Loki. We're not going to talk about that guy, bro. Leave him to be an actor.
I don't even know if don't even know if that guy's alive, man. I ain't heard, seen nothing from him. Not a whisper.
Kane takes one look at him at this point and just dashes him to the side like he's Apple. But like, I feel bad on Ben Davis. Yeah, I feel like I manifested him actually appearing, because I mentioned on the pod a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, I don't know how this guy escapes criticism, because he's been bad. He's not even been playing, and he's just sitting there doing nothing, and no one notices. Next thing, he starts in the El Sacco, puts in an absolute disaster class, and then he's one of Conte's first choice centre backs in this first game. And yeah, I mean, we'll get into that performance in a bit, but that performance against United was really and truly god awful.
It was beautiful.
Do you know what?
Great 90. In fact,
Actually,
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I rewatched it and I enjoyed every single second of it. I was like, oh man, you fell down, you didn't make the tackle. Oh, you misplaced the pass. It's like, oh, this is amazing.
you could run onto that through ball for the 5th time in like 20 minutes.
That was one of the best 90 minutes we've had this season. Yeah, it meant everything. And I thank every single United fan that cheered every single goal that went in. I'm proud of you guys. Give a round of applause to the United fans. They deserve it.
One more thing on the Ben Davis thing. If you guys all saw the documentary, and what I don't even know why I didn't clock onto when he said it about signings, about why are we making more. I'm paraphrasing here massively, but why are we always looking to make more signings? Why can't we just have a settled squad? And
that's
whatever that was. That's what he said on the documentary.
He said that about general transfers, but yeah, I hear
generally.
It
See that mentality. You see this mentality that's in our squad.
Somebody
imagine him say. Imagine. I wish he said that to Conte. I wish he goes into his office and said, "Listen, we don't need signings. Please, let us live harmoniously with Els.
Delete him.
Please,
Delete him.
Honestly,
remove him from the game.
Or remove him from the city. Honestly, so bad. But yeah, let's we can.
Yeah, I just want to move on. What I've been enjoying is like some of the rival fans' reactions, and I'll go to someone who's been on the front line, because Ohio's been on our Twitter account pretty much unloading a clip from an M60 rifle the past few days. And there's been fans galore moving goalposts in regards to like club pull and ambition and stuff. I mean, how sweet is it to taste the salt?
It just goes. I think we've made this point on the pod like months ago, innit? When we were, talking about aiming for top 4, and everyone's talking about lack of trophies, and how we're not relevant. We are probably the most talked about irrelevant club of all time. It just doesn't make sense how a club that doesn't win anything, a club that's been in the mud for basically 3 years, effectively, has somehow pulled Antonio Conte. Yeah, you would have had to pay him a bag, but Unai Emery was about to get a bag from Newcastle, and he said no. So, you know what I'm saying? You can't pick and choose when this pull thing applies. And then also, we apparently have enough pull for Tomiyasu to try and trick people as to what happened in regards to a sign. A man come out today and said, oh yeah, Tottenham tried to buy me on deadline day, but I said no. Brother, that's not what happened. Anyway. Scary time, man. He's a good player. Don't get twisted. He's a good player. But just keep your mouth closed. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just been so funny, so fun, even just watching the timeline. There's just Chelsea fans behind their Tuchel AVIs and their burner accounts saying, oh yeah, you can only win stuff by taking stuff Chelsea does. People just saying stuff that just doesn't make sense and getting their cholesterol hot. And I've been enjoying the clapbacks. It's been sensational.
Bro, that Chelsea thing gets on my nerves as well. I swear Chelsea are like the only other big team that pretty much have managers or change managers. Like the other managers have had probably, I don't know, like 5 or 10 between them in the past 5 years, bro.
Chelsea's a whore, yeah? Most people don't want to say it, but that club is a freaking whore, yeah? A whorehouse, yeah? They've gone through revolver doors. They are worse than the red light district, the blue light district, and the purple light district. I don't even know what light the district is, but whatever light the district is, they're worse than all of those districts put together. They're a shocking club. Just a revolver door of managers. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to Chelsea fans for not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with Conte and allowing him to leave, to go to Inter for a sabbatical and end up at the real North London, Tottenham Hotspurs. We thank you. We thank you very much.
Who was that Arsenal fan that was saying that the only reason Conte joined is what was it? The only reason Conte joined is because no one else wanted him.
Yeah, I'll try to find the tweet now. When United fans was slutting for him the week before.
He was triggered.
Oh, was it that United Trey guy?
Yeah, it was the United Trey guy, yeah.
I thought it was an Arsenal fan that said it.
No, there was an Arsenal fan that did a mad tweet saying, "Oh yeah, no one wants a Conte," and then this UTD Trey guy, he was like, United are the only club that could get Conte mid-season. Like our pool's that massive, and literally the next day we hired him. I'm sure you're a nice guy, United Trey, but that you had a bozo gene activation. I can't lie.
Wow,
the salt on the timeline, honestly.
It was serious.
You would know.
Shit is you dry in the mouth, man. Fucking hell.
And shout out to you, Jack. Well, you'll get freed soon. You'll be on the front line as well. For context, for people that don't know, Jack's been momentarily blacklisted. Hopefully not permanently. You can still catch him on the main account. Speaking his truth.
No, it's dirty. I mean, hey, Twitter, I know you listen to this as well. Hey, free my guy, because trust me, you don't want the NSO coming up. You saw what we did to United. Freaking got their hopes up and took their guy, bro. Don't let the NSO have to come after you, bro. It's gonna be political. Furthermore, bun Twitter, innit? Yeah, bro. Don't worry, we'll make our own freaking format. Get one of these freaking graphic designers and computer science guys. Make our own Twitter, bro. Bunny.
See, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all the sentiment right here because it's a bit lonely in the clink, you know. But we'll be out here.
You be out. You tough, right?
I'm good. I'll do a bag of pull-ups. Punching bags. I'll be there. I'll come out strong. I'll be on the front foot constantly once I'm out. So
it's a nice slight segue to someone else who is in the gulag in the Spurs squad, and I've seen a few Spurs fans actually making a solid case for him. I won't name names, and it is Dele. There's been a few arguments that his intensity might get brought back by Conte. I think that was Tops. Was that you reacting? You have the floor.
Come on, man.
The DWE ad-libs are back.
Why are we rehashing this, man? Like, if anything, he's one of the guys that's absolutely going to be pulled under. He's going to have everything from under him just pulled out because he's not a hard worker. He's not a good trainer. Doesn't give anything on the pitch. Nah. I promise you, like Lex Luger said already, him not having any game time tonight is an indication that Conte doesn't really fancy him. And I'm sure in January his time will come to an end at Spurs. We need to stop this BS about Dele this. Like, let's be honest, man. It's done, man. I think it's done with value, man. It's done, man.
The love affair makes me sick. I said it on the timeline earlier. Like, I don't know what Spurs admin was playing at the beginning of the season. Every week was Dele propaganda. And there are some people that they tweet, "Oh, like is Dele coming back?" as a way to like get clicks. Like I understand, but there are some people who genuinely believe that this guy can actually do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. If Dele Alli had declared for Nigeria and was called Bamidele Ali, this guy would be getting no love, no airtime. You wouldn't have Paul Merson saying he needs to make like Frank Lampard and get in the box and score goals, because Dele Alli has less ability in his whole body than Frank Lampard had in his left foot. That's the first thing. If Dele Alli declared for Nigeria, this guy's not getting in the team. Iwobi's benching him. Chukwueze's benching him. John Obi Mikel could play number 10 and still bench him. I've had enough of Bamidele.
Can I add on to that Bamidele Ali cannot play for Nigeria because he hasn't apologized to his father. You see, you can't go down that road. Yeah, listen, you young foolish boys out here that want to play football and disown your father's name. Listen to me. If you're of African descent, your father will not allow you to succeed. The judge is on fire. It's too much. Yeah. I'm telling you, you think my children can go walking around and saying, "Hey, I'm not your son." Charlie, you'll be underneath London Bridge, bro. If you don't know me like that, you don't know me like that. You just don't know me like that. I've told Dele Alli multiple times. I'll say it again. You want to have a career? You can come on this platform. We'll happily welcome you. Take your time. Address the crowd. Apologize to your father. Just once. Say, "Daddy, I'm sorry." That's all you have to say. And you might have a career. Aside from that, regardless of if you do apologize or not, I still want you out of Spurs. Yeah, because you're crap. That's the main reason why I want you out. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with you apologizing to your dad. You just crap. So with that being said, Dele Alli, you're no longer near the stadium. This wine is beautiful. You need to be halfway down Seven Sisters Road because you can't be near Tottenham no more.
No.
Get out of here, Chief. Oh, Dele Alli.
Seven Sisters Road is way too close. This guy needs to be in Woolwich.
Yep, I'll give that.
No, actually not Woolwich. Sutton or something like that.
Sutton seems good.
Well, there you go. I can't really argue with that. And we've just been joined by our other cast member, Dave Trebles. He's on the Peroni as well. It's certainly right.
Italian. You know how we do.
That's a Tagliatelle Thursdays, bruv.
Tagliatelle Thursdays. Don Perignon, Don Antonio. You know what? It could have been a tough week for us, guys. But I heard you guys already earlier talk about thank you, Ollie. I want to extend my gratitude as well to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the greatest manager on the ropes that we've seen in a very long time. The guy has more recovery than Tyson Fury. So I just want to thank him for his services to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, giving us a semblance of a season back, a little bit of hope, a little bit of excitement. 42,000 people in the ground today to see a typical Spurs game. 3-0 up, 3-2 win. It's like the West Ham game, isn't it? When Jose took over. Just the same kind of, we're halfway there. You only had a couple training sessions or whatever. But listen, at least we had shots on target, eh? Shots on target. We had 5 shots on target today. I think that's more than we've had in like the last 10 games.
Bro, we scored in the first half.
We scored 3 in the first half.
And we scored as well. Yes, man.
Yeah, not just shots on target, not just shin pads going towards the goal.
And in typical Spurs fashion, it was still less shots on target than Vitesse.
Was it?
Yeah, and overall shots.
That's Ben Davies tax.
Yeah, probably. Well, Eric Dyer as well.
Eric Dyer tax. Ben Davies tax.
They're letting shots through his legs and that.
To be honest, I think that the one thing that was frightening about today's game is that after about, I'm going to say 30 minutes, there was a lot of tired legs. I was like, whoa, man have been eating they've been eating. I don't know what they've been eating, but they've been eating. It could be pounded yam, could be fufu, for all I know. It could be mash. It could be something, bruv. Yeah, but these men have been eating and eating way too much because these men were flagging. And that last half an hour, they're lucky Vitesse went down to 9 men because they were huffing and puffing and the houses weren't blowing down, bro. So Conte's got his work cut out to get these men fit. That's why he's got 3 fitness coaches.
That's what I was about to touch on to as well. And that's pretty much a perfect segue because slight credit to Levy and Paratigi as well. We actually managed to give him all of his staff this time. It was rumoured that one of the reasons he didn't join was because he couldn't get all of his staff members, but he got his assistant, who's been with him since 2011 by the name of Christian Stellini. He has his 3 fitness coaches as well. And he made a new addition today. And funny enough, our coach, a resident coach, has just joined the stream. So I'll put the question to you, Dave. What are your thoughts on Ryan Mason joining the first team coaching team? Is that entitlement?
I think we always have that element of us where we're a comedy club. And I think this was just another one for the laughs, if I'm honest. Typical Spurs appointment. Levy's trying to think of the future, trying to groom his own Pep Guardiola. Midfield dynamo, retires, goes into coaching straight away, takes the B team. Can he lead the A team to glory? The reality of the situation is Ryan Mason, or as my dad used to call him, Ryan Mates on, because all he did is pick his mates. He's on a work experience journey, really. He's just getting those B-Tech credits. And I think it's one of the ones where, even like Size is saying here, Ben Davies might join him. I don't know. It doesn't really move the needle for me. Whatever Conte's seen in the past 2 days, whatever, is what it is. We all know when it gets down to it, now he's got the visa and the permit, everything's sorted. We all know Conte is going to be pulling all the strings. I think Ryan Mason's just there as a link man, keep a bit of familiarity with some of the senior players. It's a good move by Conte not to doing a total clear out, but I don't see too much long-term future in it. And from a coaching perspective, I only saw the second half funny enough today, and I was actually quite impressed, even though it was a ropey performance. Let's be honest, it's ropey. It was he's only been in the building 2 days time, 2 days, kind of performance. The subs that he made, or he was looking to make, when he was like, all right, I need Ndombele. He's basically what he's doing. He's saying, this is the one thing I know you're good at. You can beat a press. You can beat a man. Can you be our outball? All right, you do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was saying there were some tired legs on there, and he was making positive subs. Wasn't just trying to hang on for a 3-2. Yes, you want to defend that 3-2 result, but also you want to see if you can nick an extra one. And obviously it worked out in our favour. Obviously the red cards kind of leveled the playing field a bit. But it was good to see that he's trusting some players just to do their job. He's not asking Lo Celso to be an 8 and a 10 and a this and that. He's just saying that just come on and play, just be there. Do you know what I mean? I think that kind of thing is what's going to hold us until we get the right players in, the players that have the flexibility, the players that have the IQ to do the job that Conte is going to want them to do. So, it was good to see him come through the first test. But the coaching thing, man, he's brought half of Air Italia over, boy. Like, if you're Italian and you got a coaching badge, you're going to be in North London in the next 18 months. Like, it's good to see that he's brought his team, his family, his unit. He's very well known throughout the coaching world that he operates on a large scale. And they're all very involved. I saw someone tweet about the warm up today. Before the game, like the guys were like barking at them, and it's getting in. The coach is getting really stuck in. Not Nuno with his hands folded, getting booed by 62,000 people. So it's refreshing to see that kind of passion, and to know that passion is going to extend to your fitness coach, to your nutrition guy, to your then the guy in the gym helping you spot weights. Do you know what I mean? That's what we need, because some of these guys need a rocket up their backsides on the pitch, rocket to get out the club. You know, need a bit of science. So I think he's going to bring that. And like I said, I think the Ryan Mason thing is just a link. You know, nothing to worry about. Don't see him taking over in 2023. Please,
it's funny. The Ryan Mason ain't no link man, bruv. Ryan Mason can't even deliver certain goods. I'll tell you what Ryan Mason is. He's a lookout. Yeah, that's what he is. You're a big man. Just go stand out there, look out for any trouble. You hear me? While the real man do what we need to do. That's what he did. Bruv, don't worry about that. That's you obviously hug the lookout. You gotta hug the lookout, because obviously you're making sure that you know that the certain man are not trying to see what you man are doing, bruv. Ryan Mason's just a lookout. You know what I'm saying? He probably is a good lookout at that. I heard that he got props for his lookout ways. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I think, see with Ryan Mason, yeah, do you lot remember Recess? Yeah, he had Miss Finster, and he was a looking at Randall.
Randall.
Yeah.
that's what he is.
That's what
He's
Mason
Randall,
is.
bro. He's got the connect with the squad. Obviously, he's familiar with that man. You know what I'm saying? He can pass the message on, but he is there to snitch and nothing else. I'm telling you, nothing else.
Trust. True stories.
Yeah, man. He ain't nothing to be worried about. I think it's a nice appointment. It's good for him. Sticks around, but yeah, Conte's got his own people.
We basically just gave him like a Sainsbury's graduate scheme, didn't we? That's all it is. Like, he ain't gonna be there for in a year's time. Let's be honest.
That's what I mean. I thought he was quite harmless, just sitting there coaching the youth team, coming through the youth team himself. It's like, okay, that kind of fits. But yeah, this new role of being Randall is it's looking a bit weird.
Is Ledley still in the building?
I hope they sacked him. No, I've had enough. No, listen.
No, this Dele Alli praise, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I've had enough. The way he was talking about Dele Alli and the team led me. I know some legacy fans hold stock in you and like, oh, he's on legend, he's on king. You ain't my king, bruv. I hope they sacked you, bruv, chief, about ambassador what? Doing all this nonsense, praising dry players. Get out of here, bruv. We don't want to talk about Ledley King or freaking Ryan Mason. I hope they both get sacked, chiefs. Nonsense.
There's a few of them, innit? There's a few of them. You got King, Mason, you got Dawson.
Dawson
Again
as well. Yeah.
Dawson or
Dawson.
Which one?
Dawson. Listen,
Dawson,
this is the kind of
cover-
stuff we need to change. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff as Spurs we need to change. King, all right, as a player, fine. I'm gonna hold my hands up and say, yeah, as a player, when his knees were working, man was quality. Yeah, when his knees weren't working, unfortunate. Cool. Dawson, there is no club, no big club that should ever have Dawson as a legend or ambassador. That guy's uselakos. He's useless. Yeah, he is
When he
dry.
FA Cup against Man United, when he slapped the ball with his hand. Do you remember that?
What?
We lost 3-1.
Bro, bro, all I know is Dawson can't be no club ambassador or club legend. And Mason, I mean, Mason's had a tough career. You know what I'm saying? Started off, came through the ranks, you know, had the head injury. All right, cool. But I have no sentimental value to none of these, man. Yeah, none. And the key is capital none. Yeah. So Mason, you know, it's nice. Just be a lookout, you know, down Park Lane in case, you know, the po come in to try and see what we're doing, innit? We're not Leeds. You know what I mean? We don't send scouts to go check on other teams' formation. Bielsa. Chief.
He just needs to be like the night watchman at the Skywalk or something. Just get
Trust.
binoculars out, look down Seven Sisters Road, see if anyone's messing around. That's all he should be, because he's just, as a player, he was just a B-Tech Darren Gibson. Like, let's be real. Like, he wasn't that good of a player. We got rid of him very swiftly.
Ooh, Jack, you're about to spend another 5 years in jail, bro. Wow. Where did that come from?
Didn't Darren Gibson go to Hull as well?
He's got bars. To be fair, he's got bars.
Wow. He's definitely got bars.
I'm
Just
just saying.
vibes, man. He's just there for vibes. There for vibes, man. Like, there's nothing that he as a coach can offer any of the players that all Conte's esteemed coaching can't already do. So, what's he really there for? Team morale, like good spirit.
Yeah, free holidays, isn't it?
Younger,
Free holidays at the
younger
end of the
heads. I
season.
mean, come on.
Nah, he's there. He's there to tell Winks, that Hull will take him. There's always another club. Feel free.
What was his position anyway in the club before he got made coach again?
He's in
He was
with
under
the
18.
youth, I think.
Yeah, under
He's
18.
head of youth development, I
Yeah, that's it.
believe.
Yeah, him and Chris
Yeah,
Powell.
yeah,
man.
yeah. Chris Powell, yeah.
Head of youth. That's harsh.
Mm. But yeah, sentimental things aside, we'll get onto the game tonight. We did actually have Conte's first game as he got his work permit just in time in the prestigious UEFA Conference League again. Conte probably didn't know why he was there, but he managed to sell out the stadium, so fair play. Even managed to make away fans fight each other. I've never seen that before from a team playing Spurs anyway. But yeah, we had quite an interesting first half. It's as we said, like starting lineup, we actually were the first team in the UEFA Conference League game at home. Guess we didn't have to travel, so we got Lloris, Romero, Dyer, Ben Davis as a third centre back. So obviously, as expected, he rocks with his 3 at the back system. Reguilon, Emerson Royale, respective fullbacks, Skip Højbjerg pivot, and Ndombele dropped, unfortunately, and then Lucas, Kane, and Son making the front 3. I'll come to you first, Tops, and then we'll kind of discuss the first half from there. Like, what did you see from Conte's team that was different from Nuno's that you thought encouraged and or discouraged you?
What did I see that encouraged and discouraged me? What I liked from the beginning was that he wanted us to get a lot of touches in the final third. He wanted the fullbacks to get on the ball quite a lot. What I think we've struggled with recently, especially with chance creation, is that we've congested a lot of our play through the middle of the pitch. But actually having those two as high and as wide as possible, because they're quite athletic, they're quite quick, they're quite good dribblers. Getting them on the ball was, funnily using them as like another sort of creative outlet, something that we didn't really do under Nuno. So instantly, with the 3 at the back and having those two bump up and down, I thought that was really positive. It also allowed like Kane and Son to kind of operate a lot further forward, because it means that they were finding lots of areas for them to get into. The way he kind of used Romero and Davies sometimes when we had like an overlap, he would ask those guys to maybe even underlap, which was how we were even able to get the third goal through Kane, which I thought was good. And even some of the, the interchange that I think that we've done very little of this season in the midfield and between the forward players, I quite liked, which kind of resulted in Lucas's goal as well. So, I mean, these are the things that you've seen on the first sort of half of play under Conte. And I don't know, you could maybe call it new manager bounce. We did pretty much gas out after about 60 minutes. So these are kind of things that I kind of looked at were positive. Negative on the face of it, I still feel that we don't really deal with adversity very well. I mean, Vitesse aren't a great team, but there were moments in the game that we still were just very lax in terms of our concentration, which kind of led to the lack of discipline at times, losing the ball and not really fighting for it in moments. And we obviously conceded those two, I think, avoidable goals. I think as well, probably looking at the kind of players, I mentioned it before, but he probably looks and thinks, especially a couple of those defenders, they look quite limited. So he probably needs to improve on that massively if he can in January. But I mean, it was a crazy game. You know, the match finished 9-10. I feel like that position that he played, Romero, it actually puts Romero, I think, what's the word? It makes him more vulnerable, because if he's out there on the channels there were times when him and Emerson, there were times where I feel like they weren't sure who was going to take the attacker that was oncoming, whether it was going to be Emerson to pull back and keep with the attacker, or whether it was going to be Romero to then pull himself out of his three at the back to come and attack. And there were moments where I felt like there was a bit of indecision. So that's why I feel like maybe and because he's kind of a rash player, he wants to win the ball first, he wants to intercept first. I feel like playing him in the middle would probably suit him a bit better. But I mean, again, this is the first game. Everything that we did, for the first 3 goals was good, and not so great after those 3 goals were scored.
Fair play, man. Like, there's very little to disagree with that. Like, I thought even in the first 30 minutes, like Vitesse, even though we were putting away our chances, they were still getting their fair share of chances and openings as well. And it's hard to kind of, caveat or about how much to caveat and put down to it being the first game, because we know how open we are already. And it was quite weird to see like how often they just cut us open at will. But encouragingly, I did see a lot of what Conte probably worked on in training just the past 2 days. I saw actual triangles being formed on the pitch when we had the ball. Those fullbacks were high and wide constantly, and even though there was very little in terms of automation and players getting hit once they actually made a lot of runs in behind, it was slight progress, and quite clear progress, I should say, from Nuno. Guys, like what would you say was like any other kind of additional comments from the first half? Is there any particular players that really even impressed as well?
Yeah, there was one thing I will say, and I'm surprised that Nuno didn't do this, but I'm glad that he didn't, because he got sacked. The 3-5-2 formation, as we've all said in the group, allows us to have like multiple different formations at different times in the game. So there could be a time in the game where we're 3-4-3, or 3-4-2-1, or 3-4-1-2. There's like many different variations of how it can work, that formation in particular. And there are certain personnels that didn't get used today, or should I say didn't start the game today, that I'm sure will probably come into the fold for the Premier League games. But I do agree heavily with Tops that Romero will probably be better suited in the center of our defense. The only problem is we're gonna put 2 rubbish skips beside him. Like this Dyer and Sanchez is our options. And I don't want to hear anybody tell me about Tanganga. I don't want to hear anybody tell me about Rodon. Them two, look, Tanganga I ain't even got beef with, but I'm not interested. That's just the honest truth. And Rodon was, how should I put this nicely? He was the wardrobe that you buy from Argos that you know is going to fail you in 1 month, but you still bought it. That's exactly what Rodon is, yeah? He's failed us. He's absolutely useless. So we'll put in Romero probably in the center with Dyer to the right of him and Sanchez probably to the left, or maybe switch that around. Maybe that could be better. But one thing I will say is that this kind of formation does probably, and maybe over the course of the season, will probably bring out the best out of Emerson and Reguilon, because it kind of brings back that old wing back role that we haven't seen in football for like decades for some reason. I think the last true wing back I can remember was Zanetti, sorry. So it would be nice to see that kind of like used in our team. And I think I think Tanguy. I think he's gonna eat.
Yeah, Tongli's going to do well.
I think he's gonna eat.
do well.
But one person that definitely is not gonna eat because we all want him sacked is the Celso. You know that guy needs to go.
Boy. Yeah, that was sorry, someone was gonna go there.
No, I was just
Yeah,
gonna
no, I was
say.
just going to say,
No.
was it a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2?
It was 3-5-2.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kane looked like he was playing more of a 10 for
Okay.
the first half, at least. Anyway, it was all kind of a free for all after Romero got sent off.
Yeah. All right. Interesting.
But yeah, Jack, sorry, you were going to say.
No, I was gonna. It was a completely different point. I was what Yao was saying about describing Rodon as. I described him as bad breath because everyone else is shit, and he doesn't smell as bad as shit, but he still smells bad basically. But anyway, yeah. That was
I agree.
That was completely, you know,
It was relevant.
unrelated.
Just had to get it off your chest.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
had
was
to.
relevant. We needed that take.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, some of these players, you know, they can't. You know, we can't let them escape any kind of criticism at all. So yeah.
For me, moving forward, just you know, from a tactical standpoint, if he plays a 3-5-2, I think having an extra out and out midfielder as opposed to like Mora on the pitch would be the better option because our defenders aren't good enough. Okay, and I think the 3-4-3 type thing, when you just got two defenders in front of you, even though they are defensively minded with Højbjerg and Skip, personally, I don't think they're mobile enough to cover the gaps that open up when Emerson and Reguilon are bombing forward. So you need an extra body in there just to protect. Literally, you have two banks of three, right? Just 3 and 3, you know, and then everyone just plays around that. That's what I would do, just to give a bit more protection. If Romero goes into the middle, I would play Tanganga because we've seen Tanganga do a job at right back, and we know he wants to be a centre back. So right centre back here, but Ben Davies needs to sit his behind down. Please, come on, like. We can't. I know you want balance. You want a left footer, all that rubbish. I'd rather have, you know, someone with half a foot than Ben Davies with his left foot because his lack of mobility and his poor decision making is just going to cost us. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, first game. Let's see what he does at the weekend. Premier League is a different ball game. He knows the Premier League. He knows what Everton away is like. He knows he has that kind of experience. Conte, I'm talking about. So. Let's see if he puts in an extra midfielder because I think that would give us a bit more solidarity because we know Kane and Son, if they get opportunities, we've seen them in the past few years, they will make the most of it. So can we just shore it up and not have these wild 3-2 games, 3-4-3, that kind of thing?
I 100% agree with that. I feel like to add on to that point, Dave, as well, the fact that if you have someone like Lucas, whilst Lucas is so chaotic, he does do a lot of high-risk stuff. So you often find when he loses the ball, because he's not really playing like a traditional winger or inside forward, you're already going to be in a deficit once he loses the ball. And if you have like times where Emerson on that right side is high up, that whole right side is going to be basically empty, or it's going to be left with one midfielder. So at least if you have a third midfielder, be it a creative one or like a third one that's like a real energetic box to box with an engine, it means that you get someone who can go up and down and support Kane, Son, the two fullbacks when they need to be, but when we need to defend, they can happily then sit back, drop in, and as you said, give us like that 2 banks of 3. Because I just find like the thing with Lucas is that whilst he will give you the odd attacking sort of influence, he's just too chaotic, and he just the type of play that he gives us. Although he takes people out and drags people with him, it's very, very high risk. And I just feel like with that kind of player in the team, it does leave your midfield, especially with like those two in the middle that are in there, it does leave them a bit exposed.
I feel personally one of the most important positions is that sitting midfielder position. Someone that, again, Højbjerg we can't let this guy keep being our solitary defensive midfield player, he's gonna press. He's gonna leave that gap, leave those spaces so open. Vitesse had ample room to get through, getting behind all the time. I know Skip tried his hardest. I don't think he's good enough to be starting. I think many decent, good teams or top teams definitely wouldn't have Skip in their starting 11, and I don't think we should either. But we need that sitting midfielder that just plugs those holes, but also is very comfortable on the ball and can, break lines somewhat. I'm not expecting a Jorginho. I don't want someone that can also play make as well from that position. Kessie, great midfielder. I'd love to have someone of that caliber, someone of that level of quality, but also that profile as well. That can allow Højbjerg to still be in the starting 11 at times, not all the time, but at times. But it also allows players like Tanguy to express themselves a bit more without worrying about what's going on behind him. Because time and time again, every time our players, like you mentioned Lucas as well, when he loses, everything becomes high risk because we can't actually defend. There's no protection there. If we did have that, we can afford to actually play those sort of high risk passes without being punished for it.
I also think as well that as a profile of midfielder, we are missing a pace and power player. Once we lost Wanyama, once we lost Dembele, once we lost even a Sissoko, I feel like in that midfield, a really energetic, pacey or powerful, strong sort of midfielder, I feel like we're missing that. And in moments where maybe we need someone to support Højbjerg or to allow Ndombele to be a bit free, a player like that, I think in that midfield, I know people are talking about it's just, potential speculation, but a Kessie would be excellent. It would be absolutely excellent. It would be the right kind of profile of player that we would need in there.
Yeah, remember we got Sarr coming in next year, and I think he would have done a job in that role. The young kid. Do you know what I mean? And if we do get a Kessie, do you know what I mean? You got Sarr, Kessie, and Ndombele, Højbjerg, then you've got more options. I think what hamstrings us all the time is that we just don't have options. It has to be Skip. It has to be Højbjerg. Do you know what I mean? Like we have to put players in there who don't have the mobility to. I feel bad saying they don't have the mobility. Obviously, they can move in it, but like they're not elite at covering ground. They have to rely on other aspects of the game which better players can work around. Do you know what I mean? And whether it's Vitesse or Chelsea or whoever, if you're coming up a guy against a midfielder who knows how to, has great movement, then players like Højbjerg and Skip are going to struggle. Do you know what I mean? So, and they're going to play 90% of our games this season. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any immediate action in the transfer window coming up in January to address getting people in the midfield. Because I think that with our centre backs, because if we go to play 3-5-2, then the whole attacking and striker thing, then we've got two spots and we've got a few players knocking in around there. Do you know what I mean? A few players can play as a second striker, that kind of thing. But midfield needs to get sorted because we're way too open and we're putting pressure on people who aren't good enough or their concentration is not great. People like Eric Dyer, we've seen him when his concentration after a certain amount of minutes, he starts losing track of what's happening with the game. So it'd be interesting to see what they look at rectifying first now that the Don has got his guy.
Speaking of the Don as well, he alluded in his first press conference to having not spoken to Conte at all about transfers.
Rubbish.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I obviously have to paraphrase a bit, but he said he hadn't spoken to him. We're just going to have a look at the squad and see what we're doing with them, which essentially meant to me that we're kind of weeding out who's in the plans and who's getting sold. And certain people will probably like this midfield option as well. Yves Bissouma may even be attainable in the January window.
If he's not in jail.
If he's innocent.
Yeah.
He's been playing games for Brighton again, so I don't know how far along that investigation's gone.
Is he back on the pitch now?
Yeah, he was playing the last game.
Hey, call him. Let's go.
Nah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Bruv.
Let's go.
Don't call him
I'll drive him down the M23 for his court.
Nah. Don't call him until the judge clears.
It's just business. It's just business. It's just business. Like.
Yeah, it's not business no more, bro.
Yeah, he had a very good game against Liverpool the other week. So,
well, Kessier's on the free as well. So, if we could if we could pull him,
this is where the Paratici pool has to come in, because you got a Mafia member suggesting Bozovic. Yeah, for me, I don't rate him, but I think he might even, like Tops has said to me before, he might actually be an upgrade on Højbjerg. So
I think he is. Honestly.
Hey, listen, Højbjerg's cooked, bruv. So I'm cool with Højbjerg being done, bruv. There's no more stocks in Højbjerg, as Errol would say. That guy, you have to sell all your stocks, bruv.
I don't know. When I look at Højbjerg, like, an element of him just gives me a feeling that he's burnt out. I don't know. I look at his style of play. He's not been given as much possession responsibility. Maybe he's been asked to do a bit more, but I just feel
he shirks responsibility, though. I think he shirks it, and then talks about courage afterwards in games. It's mad.
I watch him and I feel like he's burnt out. I feel like he needs a bit of time out and then to come back. But I don't know. He had a full season. He had a full summer. He's pretty much played most of the games, if not all, this season. He's not. Although, you know, he might not be the fancy name that people would like. He gets around the pitch well. He tackles well. He's good technically. He pops up with the odd goal. You know, like, and he knows Conte. Conte knows exactly what kind of player he is, and he knows how he can hopefully fit into his team or his setup. I think my biggest issue with him is that he's 28, and
that's fine.
From what he's 28, but I think he's looking for his last big contract. I think they're currently in like negotiations, and he's got 18 months on that contract at Inter. But apparently those negotiations haven't started well, or something like this. So, I mean, why not? If we could maybe make it work, why the hell not? I mean,
I agree with that comment again. Like saying earlier, that whenever you get the best out of Højbjerg, you have a sitting midfielder next to him for Denmark, and for Southampton you had Romeu, who was sitting alongside him. He was a sitting midfielder. You just need, you know, he's a very good pressing midfielder, Højbjerg. But the problem is you can't. First of all, he's the only one doing it, really. Secondly, there's no one behind him, so you know it just doesn't. And then that could be a reason why he does stroke responsibility and why he doesn't play to the level he had been doing last season, or been playing with the same energy, because it's wasted. A lot of it is wasted energy. You saw it in the Arsenal game. It's just getting absolutely ripped apart.
I was thinking that one.
Just off the question we've got from Trafford Tunnel. So for the listeners, Trafford Tunnel asks, Højbjerg for Denmark gets up and down. He's not a sitting midfielder. Do you think maybe giving him that role and investing in another DM could work? I think it would work better just for Højbjerg on the pitch, because we can't have him as the furthest man back. But I just don't think he's technically good enough to do the box-to-box thing. Like, he's good going one way, and then when he's not a bad carrier of the ball. I'll give him that. Like, when he gets to space, he is good at the burst and the go. Like we've seen it a couple of times this season. But I've noticed, and I've said it to myself out loud, when Højbjerg gets into the final third, the Lamella gene activates. He just has a brain freeze. Doesn't even ball roll or do them standing step overs like Barkley did the other day against Newcastle. Like, he legit just doesn't know what to do next. You know, I remember when he was at Southampton, when we bought him at Southampton, Carl Anker from The Athletic, he was saying a couple of things that, look, sometimes Højbjerg likes to just pop a shot off, but he's very, very bad at shooting. And it's just, his passing range is decent. It's nothing to shout about. His passing range is decent. You know, I trust him to make the short pass, the long pass. But, you know, sometimes you need from your extra midfielder, he's not always gonna thread the ball every single time, but I don't think he's got that in him. Like, even Son's goal today, Højbjerg got lucky with that. what I'm saying? That rebound, I don't know who he was passing to the first time. The second time the rebound came, he got it on the money, which is fine. But yeah, I just, he's for what he was assigned originally. Like, he was doing his job just fine, but he is limited. But he is very much the least. He's one of the least of our problems at the moment.
Yeah, get him a bit of help, and I think he'll be fine. I saw it in the Euros. With a bit of help, he's fine. Like, he will fit into. He's a bit of a chameleon in that sense. He will fit into whatever role you kind of give him. And I think we just need to define that by bringing in an out-and-out defensive midfielder who can just hold down the fort. Like I said, you've got to be the last man. And again, if you play a 3-5-2 with an out-and-out midfielder, then he is part of a three-man, kind of central link-up. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what worked for him in Denmark. And that will get the best out of him. He's not going to be beating two-man and running with the ball and giving us highlights like Ndombele will, but his passing range is decent enough. He'll pass from, he'll get things in transition quicker. You need like a Wanyama next to him to break up the play, do the quick 5-yard pass, and then Højbjerg can start just expressing himself a bit. I think that's when he's at his best. But again, if you put more talent around him and he's your weakest midfielder, then you're doing good. It's when he's your only option for 30, 40, 50 games a season, and he just can't do it as much as he wants to. And he talk about courage and Viking warrior and all that kind of rubbish. Yeah, it's just not going to run for 50 games. So we need to be smart with who we get in. If there's anyone in the academy, you can help out some of these ECL games. I mean, obviously we ain't got many left before the real kind of knockout bit starts, but the young guys who can just come in and just do a little defensive midfield job. I don't know what now.
Get Alfie Devine in. Get Alfie Devine in that midfield.
Listen, I can't wait till Conte sees some of them boys.
He's going to say no to all of them.
You know what? what I would say is, Dave, you made some really good points on Højbjerg, and Ohio, you made some solid points too.
He's gearing up.
I think the best thing we can do for Højbjerg is sell him. Yeah, just sell him.
Didn't see that coming.
Just sell him. I don't know what we're doing here. Yeah, we're talking about what's best for him, what's best for us. Sell him. Get rid of the guy. I'm done. With that being said, I've got no more wine.
On that note, while you've been drinking wine, to summarise on the Vitesse performance, obviously we won it. We won 3-2. We went down to 10 men. Kuzi got sent off. Then they decided to get 2 other men sent off. What did you think of Kane's performance, especially in the second half? Yeah,
the Mook played all right. I think
that means he played good.
I think it's probably his best performance of the season so far. It's not the best performance of the season so far. His best performance of the season was against Man United because it helped us sack Nuno. So very proud of him in that game. I gave him a 9.5 out of 10 for nonsense. But today, I guess today was a step up. Hold up play was good. Link up play was good. Got involved. But essentially, there's nothing to respect about him. There's absolutely not a single thing to respect about this youth. So what you're telling me is, for the 7 games that you started in the Premier League, you down tools. That's what today was. Yeah, that's what he basically showed me. Yeah, that for 7 games you decided, you know what, I don't even like Nuno, which is fine. I understand that, but you switched it all off. But some games I don't even mind that you switched it off. There's one game I do mind that you did switch it off. That was the Arsenal game. That's unforgivable. So them man that didn't perform in the Arsenal game, all of them man, including the Mook himself, you're a complete write-off to me. I cannot wait to see you man recycled out of this club. Yeah, because I don't mind you down tooling against 90% of the league. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But if there's one game you do not down tooling, if there's one game you do not lose your backbone in, that's your rivals. That's against your rivals. And that's what he did. So, yeah, now today, he obviously upped it up a bit. He's inspired to play underneath Conte, as he said. He says, apparently it's come out that he finds Spurs move to get Conte in as the club showing ambition. I now implore the club to show more ambition, and so do you. I've had enough. Sack him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
go
show
ahead.
further ambition. All I was saying, I wanted to just touch upon that because this is the first time I've seen him properly back into defenders for quite a while. Like it's pretty much nice just to see that again. Really, I don't think he officially got on the score sheet, but again, just having that kind of shithousery as like a leading line striker. It's just nice to see it again. It just shows that he is actually up for it. I don't know if he actually came out and said it's good and it's ambitious by the club, but I'm hoping he's thinking that.
Think about it. We've all had situations at work, yeah, where we want to leave. We want to go somewhere new, try something else out. And we stick around and we're like, okay, we'll give it another year. And then we get that one supervisor who just pisses us off, left, right, and center. That one supervisor that you just can't stand, and you're like, really? And you just come in and just do what you just need to do to get paid. And that's what Kane was doing under Nuno. He saw Nuno walking on his first day of training, and he said, I've got a supervisor. I've got a babysitter until January, right? That's all I've got. Now he sees Conte, right? Now he sees a real manager come in. He's like, right. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to seeing him flourish, and whether he's got 2 months left, whether he's got 7 months left, whether he's got 2 more years left, we know that when he is switched on, he will get us 20, 30 goals a season. And that's only going to be good for the club. So regardless of his personal feelings and whether emotions up, down, whether you're sad, you're happy, all that kind of stuff, just score goals. If I'm seeing you score goals, get involved in link up assists, backing into defenders, winning aerial duels, looking engaged, that's only better because we know what Son's going to do. We know what Son's going to do, right? Son's going to give everything. Even if he has a bad game, he's putting in the work. So an engaged Kane is going to be, a lifesaver in some of the dull games that we will have, the Everton away maybe this weekend. So let's see what happens.
Exactly. And just a slightly kind of more exciting part of kind of what we could maybe expect from Conte. Like we've seen all the names that we've been linked with. I think 99.9% of them are from Syria. I would just like to ask the gents around the room. Obviously, we've got Everton next as well. With that in mind, we've got a favourable run of fixtures leading up to the January window. So I'd ask, what positions do we need covered and what is the aim for this season? Ahayo, I'll start with yourself.
Centre back, midfielder, Vlahovic. If we get those three, we're getting fourth. Randy Savage, signing out.
I like that.
Hold his spine,
I'm glad he said that because I got a bit of stick on the timeline for saying that if we sign really well in this window, we can beat United to fourth. And, if that happens, it happens. But yeah.
Ollie in as well. That's a very determinant factor in us coming fourth.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Very important. No, I agree with everything that the honourable macho man, Randy Ohio, has mentioned. Vlahovic is important. I think we need 2 centre backs, but I don't think we're going to get them in January. So 1 in January and then 1 in the summer. Also in January, Ali has to go, and I'll leave it with that. I'll just leave it with that. Ali has to go. That's it. I'm happy with one man going out the window, and another man being scared that they might be next. I'm cool with that. Ali goes. Hopefully, the best thing for Ali is he goes to Newcastle and they get relegated. Good times. He can be their Black John Joe Shelby.
Oh my God.
What a comparison to make. Dave, yourself, you were looking at certain names coming up in the chat as well. So positions needed covering.
Yeah. I like some of the names that have been mentioned, but a lot of them are for summer. I'm thinking what we need in January, because we can't go through the next 6 months with this squad. Even with Conte, you know, he will work magic with some players, but some of them just aren't at the level we need. So I'm actually not sure which players are available for January, and I'm looking at the players that finish in the 3rd spot or the 4th spot in the Champions League, and you know, they drop down to Europa. You might be able to pinch them and say, right, come to London, get some nice wages for 18 months, 2 years, and help Tottenham do something. In terms of the season, top 6 and a trophy. I think now, let's think about it. These players were in a final last year. They were in a Carabao Cup final, and they were going up against Man City and only lost 1-0. Obviously, Brian Mason was coaching. Obviously, he took off more when he shouldn't have taken him off. Obviously, we had Aurier give away a free kick, but we did manage to somehow get to a Carabao Cup final. Can we do that again? Let's see. Do you know what I mean? I think I back Conte better in some of these bigger games, these quarterfinals, semi-finals, than I would anyone else. And obviously the ECL, it looks like an easy route to get a trophy. We just need to make sure we just put away these teams when we get the opportunity. So top 6 and a trophy, which should be the aim. In terms of players, Vlahovic would be an absolute dream, just for that firepower. But I am concerned about our midfield. And I think if we sort the midfield out, we may even be able to scrape it with some of the defensive situations we've got. So I think that would be my first port of call. I'll look at our midfield and get an out-and-out DM who can just clean everything up and build a base for our more creative players to flourish.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree with Dave. If we sort that midfield out in all aspects of it, we can definitely shore up our defence and we can definitely create more chances. And I think that's been the position we've struggled in for the past 2-3 years. Even the season we made the Champions League final, I thought we were very lightweight in midfield, let's just say. I mean, I was there when, what's his name? Jean-Michel Seri was controlling the midfield at Wembley against us. Like, when things like that are happening, you just need a massive overhaul. And I think that needs to be sorted out primarily, but I still think a centre-back would be ideal. But the first steps to doing that, like Yao said, get rid of Dele Alli, get rid of Winks, get rid of Ben Davis. Start with them. I'm not, I wish we could get rid of all 15 players that I don't want in the squad in January, but obviously that's not being realistic. But get rid of those 3 at the very least to start off with, and then have a proper clear out in the summer. Plus Vlahovic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm at this point, man. I wouldn't mind selling Kane, man, in January and using it to get Vlahovic. I thought about it a lot. And I just feel like with the new manager, and you know what, in my heart, I'm taking this season as we're just getting ourselves back. The summer and next season is what I'm really thinking about. So I just feel like if we were to sell Kane and to use some of that money to get Vlahovic in and then to bank some stuff for the summer, I wouldn't be against it. This is a guy who said for a fact he didn't want to be here. And now that Conte's here, all of a sudden his tune's changed. I'm not really hearing it from him. So I would actually prefer to sell him and get Vlahovic in January, but that probably won't happen. Like Ahaya said, we 100% need 1 or 2 centre backs. Whether we can do that in January is beyond me. And then looking at the kind of players that we can get, I mean, The only player that I'd really maybe go for would be try to secure like a 6-month or year loan for Van der Beek, and just work with what we have right now. But
Yes,
after that,
yes.
After that, I'm a bit, January. I know people say, oh, we're gonna have 100 million to spend in January. I mean, who's ever bought good in January? Like, it's just
Man City, they bought Aguero.
And we can obviously try and sort out some free transfers or sign sort of agreements for the summer. But in terms of, we'd have to spend big money in January, and I just don't see the kind of level of player that we want to probably attain to will want to leave their clubs in January to come to England. I just can't see it yet. So maybe if we can get Vlahovic, absolutely drop the P's, and maybe if we can sneak some game time for Donny van der Beek. But after that, I'm really stretched, to be honest.
I think just very, very quickly before we cut, as much as I've seen Van der Beek live, think he's a quality player and we would do well for him, but I have absolutely zero interest in developing a player for United. Like maybe I'm being a bit too black and white about it. Like, yes, Van der Beek would help us, and if it was a loan with obligation to buy for a reasonable price, wouldn't be mad at it whatsoever. But if it was loan and go back, then I have no interest. And I think with January, obviously it's tough to get it right, but there have been some proper good signings. Like Suarez came in Jan,
Fernandes.
Don't like Bruno, but Bruno, as effective as he is, came in Jan. Fucking Sturridge went to Liverpool in Jan. Like, you can get it right. It is difficult. Don't get it twisted. Like, you need to find somebody who wants to dip, and is also a good player. Mid-season, Van Dijk went in Jan, but obviously that was kind of 30s from the summer anyway. So
and it costs as well. It usually costs, doesn't it? Especially in January, you're gonna have to pay the money. You have to pay the money.
Yes.
And that's the thing with these pre-contract deals as well. A lot of teams are desperate for money, and potentially they might take the money now rather than lose their player on a free in the summer. That's where we have to test teams' results.
That's what I'm hoping with some of these players that are like trying to wind down their thing, and we're hearing agents saying, "Oh yeah, they want to go to Spurs in the summer." Like, bruv, just come on down now, innit? Like, Winks has already cleared out his locker. Let's go.
Frank Kessier, man. 15, cheeky
Sorry,
15 mil. I don't know.
No, because I really, really want Frank Kessier as well. It's hard to disagree. Like, even if it is at the expense, no, I'm not. No, I can't say it.
Yeah, you say it. Say it. Do it. Listen, this is why you're blacklisted, Jack. This is why you're black. I didn't say any such thing. I'm going to go back and delete the messages. And now, because that was before Conte, and it doesn't even count. Just like I say, COVID tax towards my age. I never admit my real age to anyone. But yeah, no, it doesn't count. I can delete those messages right now. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the pod. Like, I pretty much agree with positions winning signing. I think Dyer exacerbated the need for a centre back today. We definitely need a centre mid and a forward to light a further rocket up Kane's arse would be the cherry on top. So,
with one sentence from me, if that's all right, Owen.
Of course,
gentlemen, and for those listening, la quince di NSO è completa, which translates to the NSO takeover is complete.
Yeah. There you go. Grazie.
Love it.
Grazie, prego, for all those listeners who are still listening. At the time of recording, it's like 20 to midnight. So, yeah, we thank you for joining us, and for all those that have commented. Next game against Everton away should be a really interesting game. We've got a Sunday afternoon kickoff. Maybe some of the boys will be present in the Discord, further in the good moods. We'll see. Check it out. We were rampant in the Discord for Man United's game against Atalanta, so we may as well turn up again. Pod will be out every Saturday morning, and obviously we stream every Thursday evening, so feel free to catch the rest of the new Spurs Takeover there and then. But as for now, thank you for joining again. Grazie, peace.
Arrivederci, bitches. NSO's back.